and I will explain you the loft complex object. The loft is used together with shapes. For this reason, I will save my glass. From the application menu, new, I will choose new all, and also I will press the reset button so they will reset to the default state of the program. In the top view, I will go to create some different kinds of shapes. By create menu, shapes, I will create one rectangle. For example, 70 to 100 centimeters. One circle with 36 centimeters of radius. One ellipse with 70 by 100 centimeters. One hexagon with 40 centimeters of radius, inscribed, 6 sides, and one star with around 45 centimeters of radius 1 and 25 of radius 2, 5 star. No, I will leave 6 star. Here, near the first rectangle, I will create another rectangle that is smaller. For example, 15 by 8 centimeters. I give some dimensions to understand how big is the proportion of the figures. Finally, I will create one line, but I want that the line is completely vertical in top view. For this reason, to be sure that I will not create some smooth or Bezier point, I will choose for initial and drag type to use corner vertexes. Here I will press my line, I will press the shift keyboard button, and I like distance, the length of this line, something like this. One straight line. Well, I will work everything in my perspective viewport. So, because today I will go to save my work, my file, Monday, spline-loft. Today we must finish 10 or 5 minutes before 5. And please do not shut down the computers and give only a log off, because after us we have another class. So I will return to create geometries, and I say that I will show you a new compound geometry object. This compound object is called loft, because the last object that I have selected is my line. The last object that is selected is the line, I will press the loft button. When you press loft, you have two possibilities in creation method. The first is get path or get shape. Getting path or shape you can get by moving them, so deleting and create the object, copying, so to keep a copy of the shape or of the path, or by instance. Usually the loft object we prefer to work with instance. In this way I have selected the line. And I will select a shape. The shape I will consider all of these objects. I will start with the bigger rectangle. Please press get shape and press this and select or pick this rectangle. This will take the shape. They will reposition perpendicularly to the line, and they will create a new object called compound object 1. Loft number 1, sorry, not compound but loft. The line and the shape remain intact, and we have one new look like 3D geometry object. Let's show you the second scenario. I pick my rectangle. I select my rectangle. You can press again loft, but I will not give get shape. I will give the get path. I will choose the get path creation method. They will create the same rectangle but in different position. What means path and shape? Sorry. The shape, we will consider the profile curve. We call this shape of the loft. The path is the path over which the profile shape was moved and create a geometry. Why we have two creation method, get path and get shape? Because of the, how can I say it in English, the role of one of the two shapes. If we have in spatial position our path, what is the path? The path can be one spline that describes the handrail in one building. We can draw by, for example, the helix. This is the representation of one circular stair. If you create with the helix the path, so the path is determined in the space, and we must take the shape, reposition to the beginning of the path, and loft it. The loft over one linear straight path looks like the extrusion. The extrusion is some kind of loft over path with the amount of the shape that are perpendicular to the shape. The second method, we select the shape and we use the get path. Is used when the shape, the profile shape, is determined in the space. For example, yeah.
My math is third.
What mean spatially determinate? For example, I will clone this rectangle. By move, pressing the shift mouse key, I will create one clone. Then this new rectangle I will rotate little bit in some direction. Also I will clone by move the line. Sorry, two lines, two rectangle. The second rectangle, this, you see that is positioned in some way in the space. For example, the roof of one house. And I was draw one rectangle of this roof. I want to extrude over a path. So this will determine it in the space. So this is relevant, the position is relevant of the shape in the space. For this reason I will use the get path method. So the path will be oriented perpendicular to the shape, and they will make the loft object. For example, the second path that I have copied, if we change a while, how? I will edit the final point, the final vertex, sorry. I will change from straight, from corner to Bezier. So I can create some curve. I will move only also in the space the second. Well, in this case, the relevant is the my path. So the path is positioned in the space. I must take the shape, put to the beginning of the path perpendicularly, and extrude it over this path. For this reason, I pick the new shape, the new line, sorry. I'm going to create panel, a loft, and I will say get shape. This is the shape. So the methods depend what is spatially relevant, the shape or the path. Do you understand this concept? I will show you why some of you say me, okay, but I don't create a box, or I create some strange object. If you choose the rectangle, you go to create a loft and select get shape and you specify the line, you will create something like this. Did you understand why? Because this is the path. This is look like to get the line as shape and to translate over the, not translate, but translation over the whole shape. So if you have a rectangular shape, this means to make with the line this movement and to create this kind of tube or skin. Somebody has there was experimented the second way. For this reason I was created two rectangles. Is it possible to use a closed shape to a closed path? Yes, sure. Please select the big rectangle, press the loft button and choose Get Shape and select the smallest rectangle. You will create in this way one frame. And if you change the parameters of the small rectangle or the big rectangle, you can control dynamically this frame because they are connected by instance.
Excuse me very much.
But before showing the kind of geometries that you can create, I will show the parameters of loft. For this reason, I will choose this geometry, loft. We have the surface parameters, smooth length or smooth width. Smooth length means along the path, smooth width means along the shapes. Is it possible to change the shape when I have created the loft? Yes. You see that all the loft object has one small yellow crest at the beginning and a green shape. This means that for this object I am on the first defining shape curve. I can press again the Get Shape button and I can choose another shape, the ellipse. So after creating one loft object, you can substitute the defining shapes. Well, smooth width means in the direction of the shape. Apply mapping is only for materials. Generate materials IDs, use shape ID, etc., etc., etc. After a while, I will show you what is path parameters. Please open the skin parameters. In the skin parameters you have cap start, cap end. You know what is the caps. Please leave a morph type of caps. To see what is the shape steps and path steps, you must be in wireframe mode. With shape steps, you control over the shape how many steps you have. The shape is ellipse. The ellipse have 4 points, and to create the curve of the ellipse or of a circle, you must rise up or give more steps along the shape. The same is in the path steps. Optimize shapes. Rarely you can use the optimize path options. This is for very complex lofts. Unfortunately, I cannot demonstrate at this point. But you can use an optimize shapes. So if the shapes, did you remember from the spline, if you have some straight segments, and when you press the optimize in the straight segments, you will not have steps. Adaptive path steps is used only in some circumstances. What means contour? To see what means the contour, please go to top viewport and look how the shapes are repositioned and perpendicularized in all the steps of the path. So, if this is my path and the hand is my shape, the shape with enabled contour in all the steps are perpendicular to the shape, to the path. If you uncheck contour, the shape will keep the spatial position and then will be only positioned in the steps without following or without reorienting to be perpendicular to the path. Banking. To show you the banking, I prefer to change again the path with the rectangular path. So I return to the beginning, change shape, not path, change the shape with a rectangular shape. Banking. Banking is like the virage in a curve. You know, when you go in some street or way or in the curves, we have a small virage. The banking is the same thing. The banking readjusts the shape, but because my path is not so vertex, I must here you will see the banking better. So, on checking the banking, you see how the path is reoriented along, how the shape, is reoriented along the path. This is because you must consider the path that has this shape, for example, and the shape are positioned inside this guide. Moving the path, you reorient this guide channel, and the shape going over this channel, they change the rotation alongside the path. This is the banking. Constant cross section I can show you only here on this rectangular path. This is the section of the shape, but here you see that the section is bigger. This is because the program, when you enable the constant cross section, they calculate in the in the divider of the angle. So here the angle is 90 degree. This direction is 45 degree. They recalculate the dimension of the shape, so we have a constant cross section. So the section, this is the real dimension of the shape without constant cross section. This is the recalculated, so we have a perpendicular, parallel lines of the shapes. Linear interpolation. Usually the program uses the linear interpolation. Here, even if I check or uncheck, we will not see the changes. I will show you when I put different shapes along the path, that in this case we can see that in some parts the program calculates with exponential interpolation. Flip normals means to flip the normals. Quad size means that we will have a quadrilateral size, not triangulated. Quad sides clear one of the visible edge, so they hide the edge that is diagonal of the sides. Transform degrade is when you apply the materials. So to finish, I will show you here over this vertical shape maybe the most important thing of the loft. You can specify on different levels, different distances along the path, different shapes. For example, you can control the path steps by percentage. So the beginning is 0%, the end is 100%, by specifying a distance or by dividing on path steps. You choose how many snap points you have over the path. For example, here you can see your loft object. I will move to 20%. Moving here the value of the path parameters, the small red cross will be repositioned at distance 20% from the beginning here. Then you can press the get shape and add the circular shape. You see that the program morphs the rectangular shape to the circular one. Yes, they make also this small kind of twist because the beginning point of the rectangle is somewhere, but is not in the same direction of the beginning point of the circle. So the rectangle, for example, one rectangle and one circle, they have 4 points. But if here is the beginning point of the circle, of the rectangle is here, and they are not in the same direction. They have this 45 degree, or not, maybe not 45 degree, but some degree of misalignment. So, because we must finish, I will go to the 40%. At level 40%, I will add another shape. I will add the elliptical shape. At 60%, I will add the angle shape. And at 80%, I will add the star shape. So, positioning different shapes in different position along the path, you can create a very, very complex 3D geometries. Well, you will see this video. The next time you can ask me about something about the shapes. I will show you only small parameters because we must start very quickly the materials. I will try to prepare some offline materials, video materials about the materials to not lose many time. Well, did you have some questions? No. Well, thank you and goodbye.